Hello everyone, JCE Connect series of lectures. In this particular lecture, I'll be discussing about the design procedure of base plate. So in my previous lecture, I have discussed about the introduction of about the base plate. There are two types of base plates. One is a simple slab base, and the second one is a gusseted base. So when these two plates will be used, those things we have been discussed in the previous lectures. So in this particular lectures, we'll see how the design of base plate can be done. So the simple steps I'm giving here, just follow these steps. Then the design of base plate consists of finding out its size and thickness. The following are the design steps to be followed. Then in step number 1, the first step we have to do is calculate the bearing strength of concrete, which is given by 0.6 FCK as per the IS 800 2007. So first you need to calculate the bearing strength of the concrete for the given grade of concrete. If the grade of concrete could be M20, M25 or M15, whatever the grade will be given, so for that grade you have to calculate the bearing strength of the concrete, that is 0.6 FCK. FCK is a characteristic strength of concrete at 28 days 28 days of curing. If the grade of concrete is not given in a problem, you have to assume the grade of concrete, then you have to calculate the bearing strength of the concrete. Once you get the bearing strength of the concrete, then you have to calculate the required cross sectional area of the slab base. What is the required cross sectional area of the slab base? So area required will be the factored load divided by bearing strength of concrete. Here I mentioned factored load. Sometimes the working load will be given. If you have to make that one factored, then that load divided by bearing strength of concrete. This bearing strength of concrete you have calculated in earlier step. Then load divided by bearing strength, you will get the how much area of base plate is required. Then after calculating the area, you have to select a suitable size of the base plate, that is length into breadth. So whatever the area you have calculated, you have to select a suitable section from the steel table. So whatever the section is been mentioned, so that for that section you have to select the section. Then you have to take the properties of that section from the steel table. Then you have to draw like this. Then this will be the length of the plate, and this will be the breadth of the plate. Then you have to place the column on that plate. This is the plan of the base plate. So on the base plate, the I section is been placed, and this represents the depth of the I section, and this is the width of the flange section, that is BF. Then A and B represents the projections of the plate beyond the section. So that is a smaller and larger projections of the sections. Here B and A are the projections. Then the breadth of the plate can be given as flange width. This is flange width plus 2 times of A. Similarly, the length of the plate can be given as H plus 2 times of B. Then breadth into length can be given into area. Breadth into length will be the area. Then you substitute here, you will get the area, where H is the depth of the column section, and B is the width of the flange section, and small b, that is a larger projection of the slab base. Then A is the smaller projection of the slab base. So once you have done these things, so next will be determine the intensity of the pressure, that is W, from the concrete pedestal. Means the load is known. So what is the actual area provided, that load divided by this actual area, you will get the intensity of pressure. So this should be more, this should be more than the permissible, sorry, this should be less than the permissible, then only it is safe. Otherwise you have to revise the area of the base plate. So whatever the bearing pressure you have calculated in earlier step here, see here you have calculated the bearing strength. So you have to compare with this one. So whatever the bearing strength you calculate here, this should be less. Okay. Then next is calculate the minimum thickness of the base plate. Minimum thickness of the base plate. Calculate the minimum thickness of the base slab, that is TS, and you have to refer a clause 7.4.3.1 IS 800 2007 page number 47. There the formula is given for thickness, how to calculate thickness of the base plate. You have to use this formula to calculate the thickness of the base plate. Whatever the thickness you get, it should be more than the thickness of the flange provided. If you are getting lesser than the thickness of the flange provided, then you have to take the whatever the thickness of flange is, that is to be provided for the thickness of the base slab. Then step number 6, you have to design the connections. So in design the connections, you have to provide the anchor bolts, say 2 or 4 number of 20 mm holding down bolts to be provided, that is the anchor bolts. Then you have to check the weld length connecting the base plate with the column. Means here to connect the base plate, so you need to do the welding here like this welding, this side welding, how much length of the weld is required to connect this one, or here the welding, or here the welding. So you need to do the welding because this column to be connected to the base plate. Okay, so then that welding length needs to be checked. Check the weld length connecting the base plate with the column. This check is required only for the fillet weld. Then last step, determine the size of the concrete pedestal. So if the SBCF soil is given, then for that you have to calculate the size of the concrete pedestal required. So for calculation of size of pedestal, the SBC is must. You should know the SBC. Otherwise you have to assume the SBCF soil, then you have to calculate the size of the pedestal. So these are the 7 steps you have to remember for the design of simple slab base. Okay, so this is a just design procedure. So again you will be understanding these all 7 steps when I design the simple slab base by taking an example. So you will be understanding these all steps. I hope you understood these 7 steps. So try to read once again these steps. Then in next next lecture I'll be taking a one example of design problem, and you will be understanding these all 7 steps. Thank you.